Hello everyone, so welcome you all to Ashok Tutorials Meghalaya's first MTED channel. So my dear friends, today we are going to discuss paper 2, alright? We are going to discuss paper 2 or UP section, and the topic we are going to discuss is critical pedagogy. What is that? Critical pedagogy. So what is critical pedagogy? Let us see. Critical pedagogy is an educational philosophy and approach that focuses on empowering students to develop critical thinking skills, questions existing social norms and structures, and engage in social and political transformations. It encourages students to become active, socially conscious, participate in their own education and the broader society. Here are a few examples to illustrate critical pedagogy. Now, what is critical pedagogy? So, critical pedagogy is a philosophy. What type of philosophy? It is an educational philosophy. All right. What will it do? It will focus on empowering, giving power to the students, understanding to the students, and it will inculcate a way of critical thinking skills in students, question probing skills in students, then also teach them about certain societal norms and societal rules and structures, and also make them engage in social and political transformation. All right. And it will encourage the students to be active participant, to be socially conscious, and also to participate in their own educational system and society at large. Right. Now, Paulo Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed. What is this? Let us see. Paulo Freire, a Brazilian educator, is a foundational figure in critical pedagogy. Now, Paulo Freire is known as to be the Brazilian educator who is the founder or the foundational figure of critical pedagogy. He advocated for a pedagogical approach that promotes dialogue, challenges oppressive systems, and empowers learners. So he advocated what? He advocated that pedagogical approach that promotes what? It promotes dialogue, it promotes challenges oppressive systems, and also it empowers the students. All right. In this book, Pedagogy of Oppressed, he emphasized the importance of cooperative learning and critical consciousness. Now you see, there's a book written by Paulo Freire, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. So in this book, you will find that it is very important to empower the students for the cooperative learning and also to make them critically conscious or aware. Right. Now, teaching about social injustice. In a critical pedagogy classroom, what happens? Teachers might design lessons that encourage students to critically examine issues of social injustice. For example, a teacher could lead discussions about systemic racism, inequality, or environmental justice, guiding students to question the status quo and explore potential solutions. So now you see teaching about social injustice. So in a pedagogy of oppressed or in a critical pedagogy classroom, what happens that the teachers, they allow the students to discuss about different inequalities which is going on in the society among themselves. All right. So they ask the students to think critically and find out a solution to the existing social evils. All right. Now, media literacy. What is this? Let us see. Critical pedagogy can be applied in media literacy education. Teachers can help students critically analyze media messages, question biases, and understand how media can shape public perception. This empowers students to be informed and discerning consumers of the information. Now, you see, media literacy means critical pedagogy. All right, critical pedagogy can be applied where? In media literacy education. All right, here what the teachers can do is that teachers can help the students in what? In critically analyzing the media messages or the question biases, or to understand how media is shaping the perception of the common population or the people. All right. And it will empower the students as well. Community based learning. So, in community based learning projects, students actively engage with local communities to address real world issues. For example, students might work on initiative to relate homelessness, food insecurity, or environmental conservation, allowing them to apply critical thinking to practical community driven solutions. Now, you see, in community based learning, what happens is that the students are taking part actively, all right, with local communities, and they are trying to solve the real world situations or problems. For example, Student might be working on initiatives related to homelessness, food insecurity, or environmental conservation, all right, which will allow them to be practically critical thinkers, and community driven solutions can also be, adopted by them. Feminist pedagogy. Feminist pedagogy is a form of critical pedagogy that centers on issues of gender and social justice. In this context, educators may encourage students to critically examine gender roles and inequalities, fostering a deeper understanding of gender related issues and promote gender equality. Now, you see, feminist approach means it is a critical pedagogy that will center on what, on the issues, different type of issues, the domestic violence, the child marriage, the dowry system, the early marriage, right? So all these social evils can be taken up by the critical pedagogy. So in this context, what will happen is that the teachers or the educators may encourage the students for what, to think critically, examine the gender roles, examine the inequalities done to each genders, of fostering a deeper understanding of gender related issues in the society and promoting gender equality, right? Culturally relevant teaching. So critical pedagogy emphasizes the importance of what, of acknowledging and valuing diverse cultural perspective. Teachers can incorporate culturally relevant materials and teaching methods to help students critically explore issues related to culture, identity, and equity. Now you see, culturally relevant teaching. So critical pedagogy emphasizes on what? On the importance of acknowledging or accepting and valuing what? Valuing the different cultures and the perspective of the culture. So here teacher can play an important role, right? They can incorporate culturally relevant materials and teaching methods, right? So that the students is helped to think critically and they are able to explore the issues related to the culture, the society, and the identity, and also provide an equitable solution. Environmental education now. In environmental education, what happens? Critical pedagogy can involve discussions on the impact of human activities on the environment and the unequal distribution of environmental harm. Students may be encouraged to critically evaluate and advocate for sustainable practices. Now, environmental education. In environmental education, what happens? Critical pedagogy can involve discussions on the impact of human activities on the environment, how we are destroying the environment, how we are imbalancing the environment, how we are polluting the environment, right? So all these areas can be taken up by critical pedagogy. Now, decolonizing the curriculum. In some educational settings, there is a movement to decolonize the curriculum, which involves critically examining the Eurocentric bias in traditional education. Educators work to include perspective and knowledge from indigenous and marginalized communities. So now, decolonizing the education curriculum or the education means, in some educational setting, what happens is there is a movement, right? Why? To decolonize the curriculum, which involves critically, we are examining what? We are examining the Eurocentric biases or the Eurocentric, choices in traditional ecosystem. So what do we do here? Educators work to include perspective, all right, and knowledge from indigenous and marginalized community, which means indigenous people, right? The tribal people or the actual people of that land, and the community and the villagers and the society can work together at large and come to a solution of the problem. In these examples, critical pedagogy is applied to various educational contexts, encouraging students to challenge societal norms, explore injustice, and engage in constructive dialogue and action. It aims to create socially aware critical thinkers who are equipped to address pressing social and political issues. So as you have seen, that examples can be that you want the thinkers who is ready to fight for the society, for the injustice, for the gender biases, for the land protection. So we believe in creating an environment where, critical thinkers are there who will take care of the environment, the society, and the political ecosystem, all right, and the political system. This is all in this video, so thank you everyone for staying connected with Ashok Tutorials, Meghalaya's first MTech channel. Thank you.